what's happening? We're going to the desperation button. So this insane story out of the Atlantic, and I want to go through this a little bit because I want to explain to you the network nodes of the power apparatus that we are looking at. It's not just that they're targeting Trump's rhetoric. It's not just that they're making up stories. Of course they're making up stories. I actually spoke to a military official, defense official, that was in the room when this took place, said nothing of the sort was said. The family member of this veteran, Mexican-American veteran who died, came out and said she debunked it, and she actually said she's voting for Trump or just did vote for Trump. But understand that you are looking at the nodes of the matrix. As I said on Tucker, the Leviathan is revealing itself from underneath. Look at the pieces. Atlantic story drops. Then CBS makes that the lead story of the night. The lead story of the CBS coverage of the night on broadcast media was this Atlantic story. Remember, no name sources, not a single name source in there other than General Kelly, a guy who was fired by Donald Trump, fired in disgrace. Now, if I break a story and I say, oh, look, here is Ryan Wesley Routh, who's in a propaganda video for the Azov Battalion, which is over there in Ukraine. And now somehow, even though they've received assassination training from the CIA in Ukraine and in Russia proper, that he is now sitting outside of Mar-a-Lago, the same guy. You never even hear that on CBS News. But Jeffrey Goldberg over at The Atlantic puts out a story, boom, leads the coverage. Then Kamala Harris comes out. So just look and remember, who owns The Atlantic? Rain Powell Jobs, the widow of Steve Jobs, best friends with Kamala Harris, also best friends or former best friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. This is part of the Epstein network. It's just true. It's just true. Go look it up. Part of the network. So now we're seeing the network control over this. Kamala Harris goes out and gives a press conference. That becomes the wrap-up smear. This is desperation. This is insanity. But I'll tell you again, the regime will stop at nothing.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify, in his mind, as the enemy within, like judges, like journalists, like nonpartisan election officials. It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans. All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is. This is a window into who Donald Trump really is, from the people who know him best, from the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room. And it is clear from John Kelly's words that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia to carry out his personal and political vendettas. Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable. And in a second term, people like John Kelly would not be there to be the guardrails against his propensities and his actions. Those who once tried to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses would no longer be there, and no longer be there to rein him in. So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power. The question in 13 days will be, what do the American people want? Thank you.